I read your recent piece about the lack of outrage over Fast and Furious, and I got to tell you, I was nodding my head in agreement the entire time I'm reading this article because we've talked about this on this program so many times. Within the Obama administration, within some of the comments that the president himself has made, there has been a real lack of emotion. I mean, if this operation took place, under your watch, wouldn't you be livid if you found out about it?
Oh, and that's sort of the point. If the president really cared about what had gone on here and these issues, he should be bouncing off the walls that one of his own administration, or members of his own administration, have been involved in this. But it goes even further. I'm from Arizona. We have a major daily newspaper. Mm-hmm. Our major daily newspaper didn't run much of a story about this until our federal attorney in Arizona had to resign. So think about this. We're the epicenter of the scandal.
Yeah.
The epicenter, and yet we go a half a year and almost hear nothing about it in traditional news media.
That's astounding to me because this story has been so big. The congressional subpoenas have been issued to the Attorney General, talking about 14 high-level Justice Department officials, all of whom were political appointees who apparently had knowledge of Fast and Furious. The fact that you had a U.S. Border Patrol agent, Brian Terry, murdered. Likely with one of these guns sold in Fast and Furious. These guns are turning up in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as places like El Paso, Texas, and, of course, south of the border in Mexico as well, where the Mexican government says they're responsible for probably 200 homicides at least. And the local media in Phoenix just hasn't felt like this has been a big story?
It's been amazing when you would read details on blogs for months and months before it would ever appear in the newspaper. Where's the outrage? And for many of us, we're trying to treat this in a very methodical, logical process.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give Darrell Issa and his committee credit. They're trying to accumulate the facts and do it properly. But you start to wonder, were there sub-agendas here? Was this really about tracking Mexican drug cartels, or was this the opportunity to also work on some of the anti-firearms agenda that so many members of the left have? And that's actually part of the data I really want ferreted out. I want to know, were they putting people's lives at risk, breaking the law, so they could move forward a fairly radical agenda?
Well, yeah, and I think there are a lot of folks who want to know the answer to that question. Now, we don't have any smoking gun email, no pun intended, to that effect right now. But we do know, Representative, that earlier this year the Obama administration did use this as a way to enact additional regulations and requirements on gun sellers in Arizona, as well as California, New Mexico, and Texas.
Yeah, and just think about that. You're a Western state, a state like ours, which actually has constitutional carry. A culture of treating firearms with great respect. 20 years ago, I was the sponsor of Arizona's concealed carry law. So, I've lived in this world of policy for a very long time. And to pick out states like ours, which literally have a culture of treating firearms with respect, but also some real border issues, and then to do that to us, it's just an outrage.
So what do you hope happens next? I know that the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee will be holding hearings next month, likely in conjunction with the House Judiciary Committee. There's been a lot of talk, including from Wayne LaPierre, that a special investigator is needed. Is that something that you would support as well?
Mechanically, I'm going to respect Darrell Issa and his committee to put together as many of the facts as possible. I'm making an assumption those facts may lead us to requesting a special prosecutor. But let's mechanically do it the right way. Let's not do what we've seen the Democrats do, which they all run to the microphone and start screaming special prosecutor. Let's get our facts together, and then if the facts warrant, which I must tell you, everything we're learning so far, it does look like it's going to warrant a special prosecutor. But let's get our data together, and that way we can actually also demonstrate to the public that we're not on a witch hunt here. We're not trying to make political games. We're trying to protect our citizens. And we're trying to protect our citizens from a government that has done some very bad things.
Absolutely. Congressman, again, I really appreciate you joining us tonight, sir. Hope we can do it again soon, and thanks for your time.
Anytime. I enjoy it.